Member of the House of Representatives representing Ideato Federal Constituency, Mr. Ikenga Ugochinyere, said 2 governors and 40 lawmakers are prepared to defect from the People's Democratic Party in the coming weeks. Ugochinyere expressed dismay over the lingering crisis in the PDP, saying rather than act, the party leaders kept mute and allowed the situation to fester. Addressing newsmen in Akokwa in Ideato North, Imo State, the lawmaker called on the party's National Working Committee to expel Samuel Anyanwu and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Expel Wike, from the PDP. He expressed disappointment in the current state of the PDP, asserting that its founding fathers will be ashamed of what the once proud party had become. He accused the current leadership of sabotaging the platform that brought them to prominence. The coalition demanded the immediate expulsion from the party of the acting national chairman, Damagum, the PDP's 2023 governorship candidate in Imo State, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Expel Wike. Ugochinyere, who spoke on behalf of the coalition, also called for the emergence of a substantive national chairman from the North Central Zone to save the party from collapse. He said, for 2 years, the leaders of this party have failed to find a solution to its internal crisis because they are actively undermining the very platform that made them. He criticized Damagum's statement, invoking divine guidance, questioning his inaction during the critical party decisions. Where was God when you allowed the North Central to be sidelined in appointing an acting chairman? Where was God when you supported APC defectors in court? Or when party structures were handed to APC members and yet you speak of faith in God? He also questioned the continued membership of Wike in the PDP despite his open collaboration with the APC-led federal government. Comrade Warmit, what do you have to say in reaction to Ugochinyere statements?
I'm laughing because we're on air, otherwise I wouldn't give prominence to such a person by talking about him. But I'll respond to it because I need to correct the lies and propagandas and wrong narrative he has pushed out. Now, I'll start when you are reading a book. As an historian, before I read a book, I look at the back of the book and look who authored that book and see the profile of the author. I will not go and read nonsense. So let me let you know, Ugochinyere that has made those comments, I believe the founding father don't know him. One, I believe his own father will be disappointed in him. Number two, and number three.
That's a strong
no,
statement.
I'm coming. He has made strong statement. He sought PDP leaders. He sought my leaders. So I will not reserve any word to describe him. I'm even. I'm
plead with you.
No, that's why I'm careful. If I want to call him a spoiled child.
No, please don't.
So that's why I'm
national television.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying okay. But let me say this: who is Ugochinyere? When did he join politics? To have come to the point that he will start making comment like that. Now let me tell you, Ugochinyere was hustling in National Youth Council. Through the back door, called people and declared himself the national president. In fact, he was detained by a security agency for over about 3 months before he moved. When he was released, was given condition not to misbehave. He now went to form APP and became the national chairman of APP that he sold to Rivers State Governor. Come down. That he used to make our party. We'll ask him for him to refund all the money that has been alleged that he has collected. But we'll come to that. Now, after that, he was hustling. And the former governor of Rivers State assisted him. The former Senate president, he was paid to the former
governor of Rivers State. Which of the former governors?
The present FCT Minister.
The FCT Minister.
Yes.
Assisted.
I helped his life. Then the former Senate president, Senator Saraki, worked as one of his aides, errand boys, when he was Senate president. Now, looking at such a character, he came in. Ugochinyere being in House of Reps today, God, number one, has the credit. Then when we are talking about human being, number one is the FCT Minister. Number two is the National Secretary of the PDP. I dare him to a national debate. I will prove to him that without them, he wouldn't have been in the House of Reps. Let me tell you, give you some fact to that. One, he contested the primaries. When he contested the primary, he lost the primaries. Number one. Number two, the person that won, the FCT Minister had to plead, and Senator Ikenga Anyanwu pleaded, and he relinquished the position to this thing. It was through the appeal committee.
Relinquished the position to
Ugochinyere, through the appeal committee of that came for the this thing to this thing House of Rep appeal committee in Imo State. Relinquished the position to Ugochinyere because that was the first order they crossed, and these men were instrumental. I was crying, begging, polishing the shoes of the FCT Minister just to go to House of Rep. So I get annoyed when such an ingrate will come up and abuse leaders. No, I'm coming. I just use the word ingrate.
Language.
Yes. Now look at it. He did that. He went to the election. The tribunal declared, after he won the election as claimed, the tribunal declared that he lost the election because the primaries, following the PDP Constitution as amended in 2017, following the Electoral Act as amended in 2022, the primaries of every election by any party must be conducted within the state constituency, federal constituency, senatorial district, local government area if it's local government election, and if it's state election within the geographical location of the state. But what is it called? Ugochinyere's primaries was not conducted in Ideato North and South Federal Constituency. It was conducted in Oluzo, which made that election null and void. That was on the ground which the tribunal sacked him. He went to appeal. Who made the appeal possible for him to come? Everybody that had that issue in Imo State, all of them were removed. One senator, I think 2 House of Rep member, they were removed. Only Ugochinyere survived it. Who know Ugochinyere to have survived that? It was the FCT Minister that did all he could within his powers to support a young person, to bring up a young person, and Ugochinyere is in House of Rep today. Ugochinyere ought to be licking the shoes of this man that saved him, because without him, he wouldn't have been any. I want Nigeria to know, and I joke Ugochinyere to come and counter me on national TV. I don't want side talk. So that is the person, and that's why I said I'm telling you this to let you know that I didn't want to talk about it, just to correct the wrong impression. And that's why, and I also told you, if I'm reading a book, I have to look at the back to know who authored the book before I read it. Not somebody that I'm even more enlightened that will write a book and I'll come and read it. No. I'm more vast than who write a book. No. So that's why I'm giving this background. Now, Ugochinyere said the party should expel the FCT Minister. Let me start with the FCT Minister. The question is Ugochinyere still a PDP member? The answer is no.
Why do you say that?
He has been expelled by his party at his ward, his local government, and his state.
I recall that, but wasn't it reversed?
There is no.
Wasn't it reversed by
it wasn't reversed by the national. There was no resolution to that. It was the opinion.
The statement of Ologunagba.
It was the opinion. It's not even a statement. That's why I say it was the opinion of the National Publicity Said Ologunagba. It wasn't the NWC's resolution to that effect. Ologunagba, Debo, and Ugochinyere are best of the same feathers, and I dare them on national TV. They should come, and I'll prove to them. And that's why he rushed to go and make that statement. So, one, he doesn't have the requisite authority to talk about the FCT Minister because he's not a PDP member. But just to clear the air, the FCT, on what ground do you want to expel the FCT Minister? Or is calling for the FCT Minister to be expelled? He said he's bedding with PDP. Ugochinyere is pepper souping with APC, bedding, is showalizing with them. So, if anybody is to be expelled, if he has not been expelled already, it has been Ugochinyere.
How has he been doing that with the APC?
Let me tell you now how he has been doing that with APC. The crisis, fueling the crisis in PDP, today, that we have internal mechanism to resolve our crisis, every minute you will see him go to the air and talk, because most especially he has seen somebody that is financing him, took advantage of the crisis in Rivers State, make Rivers people, the Rivers governor, deceived him to make Rivers State. I'm telling you, it has been alleged Ugochinyere collects over every month almost 2.something billion from Rivers State through the local government. Every local government contribute to the what is it called, 100 million to the party APP through the party. He collects, it has been alleged, he has collected every month. That is what they do. And this boy has been making the state. A time will come, we ask him to refund our money. He has been making the state. Now I'm going somewhere.
That's a strong allegation.
I'm going somewhere.
You know
now,
that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Now he has been doing that. The appointment of the this thing, what is it called, sole administrator, has stopped that flow. Has stopped that flow. And if you look, otherwise, let me also ask you, why is it that Ugochinyere never talks about Imo State issue? His state is being governed by APC. He only talks about Rivers State. And I've called on several national TV, I've told the governor, Ugochinyere has led you to, will lead you to a graveyard, political graveyard. And today he has seen it. It's a boy that don't have any political relevance. People that has helped him. What position has he occupied? He claimed to be a lawyer. Asked him if he was called to bar. So he's somebody that has no credential to stand and criticize the FCT Minister. The speaker will appoint an aide. Ugochinyere will greet the speaker. It's remaining to lie down for the speaker to work on him. And that's why I blame the speaker. No assembly House of Rep member is coming to the press to talk carelessly about his party or political leaders. But the speaker ought to suspend him. Because let me also give you something. Ugochinyere is a first timer. It's a first timer. Ugochinyere is a PDP member supposedly. Ugochinyere is not an expert in any oil field. How come, if it's not bedding, if it's not pepper soup, if it's not socializing with APC, he was made the chairman of Petroleum Committee downstream? How come? Two things are involved. Either he's bedding with them or he bedded himself his way through. That is the two things. I know, I'm very familiar with the runnings of this thing. He's not a ranking member. We have ranking members that are even APC members from Imo State. But none of them were given that position. If at all you want to give him a position, maybe because of his careless talk, you can say, okay, let's give him information. But petroleum downstream, that's why I say it's bedding with APC. If not, he would have rejected it if he claims to have integrity, attacking the FCT Minister that he collected ministerial appointment. Why did you collect a committee chairmanship appointment from the speaker? And I blame the speaker. There is no cautioning the Ugochinyere. Why? Because, no, I'm coming, let me just land. We have only one minority leader. And that is the most most respected, right honorable Chinda, Chinda. Look at the gentleman, how many times, if he's criticizing government policy, polishly, he will say, no, look at it, look at it. Look at his performance on the floor of the house without making noise. Have you seen him come to talk? Once when he comes, you know that there are critical national issues he is addressing. But this boy will come up and be talking, there is no group known in House of Rep as coalition of opposition lawmakers. It's a sole proprietorship group. It's a group created by Ugochinyere to hustle. That is it. So the only person that, and sometimes that's why I blame the media. Which group? Go and to the floor of the house. You have access. Go and write freedom of information. It is not recognized. He was using it to hustle as he started with opposition political party, something like that. From there, as he was privileged to be in the House of Rep through the help of Senator Anyanwu and His Excellency Wike, he came with that platform to continue his hustling. If not, the question is that we have a minority leader, an excellent, impeccable minority leader. Go and see his bills in the house. Go and see his presentation in the house. Go and see his composition in the house, the way he comports himself. Where was Ugochinyere when they presented the bill, no, the motion for the declaration of the state of emergency before the floor? Did you hear the voice of Ugochinyere?
I wanted to ask you that question, but apparently you have taken it
out
of my mouth.
So you see the
ahead.
issue. That is it. So you look at it doesn't have any credential whatsoever to even talk about any leader. That's why I've gone this far to put this thing through. So the FCT Minister remains a PDP member, and I wouldn't want to overflog what he has said. He remains a PDP member. He's a NEC member, and he sits in the NEC, and he has said his position clear to the party, and the party understood why he did what he did, and even the appointment he collected, he said it that he informed the party. So where was Ugochinyere? Why didn't he come up there and say, no, party don't allow him collect the appointment? You kept quiet. Today you have seen Rivers money that is being used to give you. Since he stopped collecting money from Rivers State, this where have you heard him make a press conference recently? That is the question. He takes advantage. He's stuck in trade. It's lies, blackmail, and creating wrong narrative to intimidate political figures to make sure that they buy to this thing.
Right,
so now, that is it.
Comrade, 1 minute. Now you are the spokesperson for PDP National Secretary.
Yes.
Senator Anyanwu, correct?
Correct.
Now, I would want you to address the statement made or the call by Ugochinyere to have the National Secretary, that you are his spokesperson, to have him expelled. What is your reaction to that?
I would, just for the sake of correcting impression, because Ugochinyere is not a member of our party as we speak today, and so I cannot respond to him, but I want to correct, not my response to him, but to correct the narrative being created in the media.
Yes, go ahead.
The National Secretary of our great party remains Most Distinguished Senator Samuel Inemeka Anyanwu, and nobody following our constitution can remove him. It can be removed by the convention alone, not even the governors. With due respect to our governors, they are not organs of the party. If they say they are organs of the party, they should show us within the constitution. And on several platforms, I've called our governors out that, see, your decisions, your actions has cost PDP a lot. It is high time you stop this. And what is the issue? I want to give a background to this issue. Right. One, Senator Inemeka Anyanwu, as National Secretary, indicated interest to contest as governor, to serve his people, the good people of Imo State. And he went, picked the forms. After picking the form, he submitted it. There was a screening committee set up. He went through the screening process. He scaled through the screening process. He purchased the form, submitted the form, filled it, and submitted it. And before going for campaign, he took leave of absence to be able to focus on campaign. And I have the letter here. Took leave. This is the letter that he took. The national chairman signed, himself signed, and the deputy national secretary. The deputy national secretary also signed, notifying INEC that he's going on leave and that he will resume after the campaign. And he has written that letter for everybody to see that he's going on campaign. So at what point he resigned from the party? There was no point as Senator Anyanwu resigned from the party. That is number one. And you cannot appoint somebody to a position that is not vacant. So if he did not resign, how come the position of the national secretary, some people are claiming, became vacant? So the position number one was not vacant. Now, people for political interests that are not comfortable with the national secretary, Senator Anyanwu, because of the FCT Minister, now went to court to use the court to remove him. They succeeded in the Enugu High Court. They succeeded in the Enugu Division of the Appeal Court, but lost out at the Supreme Court. And at these stages, the Most Distinguished Senator Inemeka Anyanwu used stay of execution to halt the procured judgment from Enugu High Court and Enugu Division of the Appeal Court. And as God will have it, at the Supreme Court looked at the merit and said the Supreme Court justices, their law justices, unanimously upheld all the prayers of Most Distinguished Senator Anyanwu. And one of the prayers is the Supreme Court should let him know if he remains the national secretary or not in his prayers. And the Supreme Court upheld it. But the Supreme Court made a statement which those that are fighting the national secretary because of the FCT Minister fighting a proxy war are claiming. The Supreme Court made a statement that political internal affairs of the party, political party internal affairs is the affairs of the party, not the court. They made that statement. But the parties must abide by their constitution. Refusal to abide by their constitution is what make them come to the court. So you say go back and by following your constitution and use your constitution to resolve your internal leadership crisis. That was what the Supreme Court said. But some of them craftily remove that part, that the constitution, because what they are trying to do is not in line with the constitution, it's not in this PDP constitution.
No,
they are trying to bypass the constitution to install a stooge. And the funny thing is that the person they are fronting, for crying out loud, PDP, hate it or love it, is the largest party in Africa. PDP is an institution. PDP is like a university that graduates student. It graduates students. See some of our graduates in APC, in Labour Party, in other political parties. And you will now bring somebody that we all saw on national TV, ran with barefoot, came with talk to disrupt against section 58, 1 and 2 of the constitution, disrupt the sitting of the BOT. In addition to that, forged our party guidelines, because our party guidelines never said if you want to contest election, you should resign.
I wanted to ask you that question because
let me let you ask you, so I'll put more light.
That is where the argument is coming from.
Yes.
That Senator Anyanwu was supposed to tender his resignation in order to contest in any election at all, right?
Yes.
So does your party, is it in your party constitution that an elected officer, in this instance at the national level, if he must run for any elective position in the country, must first of all resign from his elective position in the national party, before running for that position?
It is absolute falsehood, absolute lie, and a story, a narrative from element of destruction that wants to destroy the party. I'll read the constitution.
Go ahead.
I won't just say it.
You have the constitution with
yes,
you.
section 47, 5. I'll read it for Nigerians to see that people cannot just come.
Can I just see the?
Yes.
All right. That's the PDP constitution. All right, go ahead.
This is the PDP constitution. I want to read section 47.5 clearly, because that is where there are two sections. I'll read for section 47.5 and section 48.1, because it is on that premise they want to come through the back door to remove the national chairman. But it's unfortunate that they've not been succeeding. Now, see section 47.1, section 47.5 of our constitution, the PDP constitution, as amended 2017. Any officer elected into the executive committee of the party at any level may, except even though they don't go to school, they should ask people to educate them. May is a discretionary word. May resign his or her office by giving 30 days notice in writing to the appropriate executive committee, except in the case of resignation for the purpose of vying for an elective office which shall be effective within the period stipulated in the guideline. And this is the one they are deceiving people with, that he said shall. Let me explain this section. They said you may resign. That is your discretion. And I'll give you precedents that are there. Fresh ones. Now, you may resign. In our way further, I want to educate people about this part. Said, after the comment said, except in the case of resignation for the purpose of vying for the elective office, which shall be effective within the period stipulated by the guideline issued. So if, for example, the constitution say resign, our constitution say resign within 1 month, as is stated there, and in writing, and the party guideline goes ahead to say resign within 2 months. What this is saying, if as long as you are contesting and the guideline of that election demands you to resign, what is it called? Guideline to write and say you want to step aside for it. That if the guideline of the party said do this for a month and you want to resign, the party said do it for 5 months to the time, resign, then you should do it 5 months to the time. not minding the 1 month stated there. If you see said 1 month in writing. Now, it is may, not shall. If it is shall, and our former national publicity national legal advisor, Jacob Mark from Kaduna State, has said that the may was shall before. So in the discretion and wisdom of the leaders of the party then, change it to may. I don't know the reason. So why is it that it has been
discretionary?
It's a discretionary position.
Can choose to resign
or not
resign.
And in this case, Netanyahu chose not to resign,
but instead handed over to his deputy
to act, to enable him focus on the election to ensure that Imo State become a PDP state.
Okay.
And that was it. And that's why we are trying to educate people that this fallacy they are carrying is not true. Now, let me also read another section before I explain this. Now, if you look at section 48(1), because when I read the judgment, some part of the judgment of the Enugu High Court, my dear, you will know that this country is in a big trouble. A judge will say that the PDP National Secretary is being appointed. That the PDP National Secretary is being appointed. And I read it and I became shocked. That because he's appointed, he needs to be, he has to resign. The question now went further to claim that the PDP National Secretary is a public officer. Oh God. When I read it, I wept for this nation. Meanwhile, look at it. The Constitution 48(1) said, subject to the provision of this Constitution, any member holding any office in the party at any level shall deem to have resigned that office if he or she assume the office, assume any of the following offices. If you assume, because the other grounds they are saying that he's no longer the national chairman, that he is occupying dual office. And I asked the question, is there any office called the candidate of the party? Is there any office that you take oath of office, that I'm taking oath of office as in Nigeria as the candidate of the party? There is no office like that. Now, see what the offices enumerated. If you occupied and you occupy a national office or a state office, you automatically has relinquished the office you occupy. Now, they said, Office of the President of the Federal Republic, Vice President, Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Special Advisor or Special Assistant to the President or Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, membership of the National and State Assemblies, Ambassador, Governor or Deputy Governor of a state, Commissioner, Special Advisor or Special Assistant to the Governor or Deputy Governor of a state, Chairman, Vice Chairman or Councillor of a local government council, any full-time employment or appointment in the public service of the Federation, state or local government. Did you see flag bearer of PDP? There's nothing like that. So how, if he's not occupying two positions, he has relinquished his position as national secretary? Because there's no office of the candidacy of the party. It is stated there. Now, if you talk about this one, may resign. I want to give you two instances. The former national treasurer of PDP from Ekiti State went to contest as governor of Ekiti State, lost, came back to resume his duty as national treasurer. The present national deputy publicity secretary of PDP went to his home state of Kebbi, contested, did not make it, came back today. A few days ago, he was even on one of the national TVs, still performing his function. The question. Now, before I go to the question, the present governor of Taraba State contested, was his chairman of PDP, state chairman of PDP, contested as governor, won the primaries, contested the general election, won it. He did not leave the office until he took the oath of office as governor of Taraba State. They automatically relinquished the position of state chairman. So the question is, what is different with Anyanwu's case? Another question is, what has Anyanwu done? They have not come up to say the national secretary has stolen money, the national secretary does not have capacity, nothing except this one. And that is why we are saying that the governors are one of the problems we are having.
The PDP governors?
The PDP governors.
Okay.
To have come to make a pronouncement or address press to say they are appointing the national secretary, deputy national secretary, to act in the act as national secretary. There is no vacancy. Okay, the position of the national secretary is not vacant. So how do you appoint somebody? It's like now the president saying that he's appointing a governor, like he did in Rivers State, without suspending the governor.
All right.
So it doesn't make sense, and that's why we are saying that the governor should stop this. They shouldn't continue with this. They are causing crisis. We expected that as they went for their meeting in Ibadan, they will be able to galvanize us and invite Senator Anyanwu, say whatever is politics, forget it. Now you are our national secretary. Let's work together and see how we can take the party to a greater height. But rather, for selfish interests, some of them to secure senatorial seats, some of them to secure their second term as governor, decide to appoint the deputy national secretary in error to make sure that the crisis or the interest wrangling in PDP sustain.
All right, very well.